Hello everyone, this is VGTI, and we're back to Pikmin yet again. I said at the end of my last video that this video will be a little different than my normal theory videos, and that's because in this video, I'm not going to be discussing theories based off of evidence that's already in existing games. This video is going to be more speculation on my part, and that's because of the recent news that came from Shigeru Miyamoto himself. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this by now, but he was recently interviewed saying that Pikmin 4 is a thing, and it's almost done. It's almost finished. So basically the entire Pikmin fanbase lost their minds, and it's crazy because we haven't actually seen anything of this supposed Pikmin 4 yet. He just came out with the news that it's almost done. It really makes you wonder when we're gonna hear more about it, or if we're gonna see more about it between now and E3 of next year, 2016. But let's cut to the chase. This video is purely going to be speculation about what Pikmin 4 could be about, what could be in it, and also if we've had any evidence about continuation in the other games, in the first 3 games. And really there's not much to go off of there, but there is one thing, and I'll discuss that later. First off, Pikmin 4, what could it be about? With Pikmin 3, we had completely new protagonists. It was unlike the other 2 games because in one you play as Olimar, in the second game you play as Olimar and his partner Louie. The third game presented a twist by giving us new protagonists, 3 new protagonists to play as, and then popping Olimar and Louie in the game as an important part of the plot. So, what will Pikmin 4 have? Will it have completely new protagonists, or will it take us back into the boots of the protagonists that we already know? Maybe we'll have a mixture where we can choose what protagonists to play as out of all of the ones that we know now. Olimar, Louie, Alf, Charlie, and Brittany. It's possible. But there is also the possibility that we'll be playing as a completely different protagonist, maybe not even somebody from these 2 planets. However, that, I believe, is more unlikely. This all leads back to Pikmin 3, or rather, the ending of Pikmin 3. The ending of Pikmin 3 seemed to close every loop perfectly. You know, they all escaped the planet, the thing, the Plasm Wraith, whatever it was left stuck back down on the planet, and everything seemed okay. Until the very end of the game, there was one shot of Pikmin just, hanging around, and there was something in the sky flying down into the planet's atmosphere behind him. Now, there have been many theories as to what this was. I was actually, truth be told, considering doing a video on that very snippet of the ending, but I decided not to, and it's a good thing I didn't because I can talk about my ideas real quickly here. The reason I didn't do a whole theory video on that is because it would have been really just too short, but I can cover it all here. There are multiple possibilities as to what that could have been. It could have been, the protagonists that we already know from Pikmin 3 flying back down into the atmosphere. It's possible that the Plasm Wraith, if that's what is behind all of this weird stuff going on, dragged them back down to the planet. In which case we go into Pikmin 4 where we play as all of them. However, there's also the possibility that this ship that we saw crashing down onto the planet at the end of Pikmin 3 is actually an entirely new protagonist, possibly an explorer that ended up getting caught in this cycle of the Plasm Wraith bringing ships down onto the planet, if that's what's going on. I mean, the narrator at the end of Pikmin 3 seems to imply that, and that's what makes the most sense considering what the Plasm Wraith is and how much we don't know about it. The narrator said right before that clip that they never figured out what the presence was that they sensed at the beginning of the game, what pulled them down to the planet. They never figured that out. And then it left on that note mysteriously as that clip played, as something crashed down onto the planet. Some have considered this clip also maybe a flashback to the beginning of the game. However, it just seems too important to be a flashback, especially after what the narrator says right before that clip. To sum this all up and make a long story short, it's my belief, my opinion, and theory that this clip that we saw at the end of Pikmin 3 is going to tie into Pikmin 4 in some way. I believe that it was hinting at something about Pikmin 4, and I know that Nintendo had already had plans to continue the Pikmin franchise around when Pikmin 3 finished up, so it makes sense. However, as to what it is, what it could be, that's up for debate. We may see soon if they reveal more about the game. On to what could be in Pikmin 4. A lot of this is more of me hoping that we see stuff in Pikmin 4 that we did not get to see in Pikmin 3. One thing that I've always been curious about are the Bulbmen from Pikmin 2. Olimar mentions in his notes about the Bulbmen that it seems that they're actually Bulborbs infected by a parasitic type of Pikmin. Basically, there's a parasite Pikmin inside the Bulborb's body, and that is what is causing it to be a Bulbmin. It's always made me wonder if we'll see those Pikmin as they are, outside of the Bulborb. And if they were, maybe we could use them to infect other creatures and use them to our advantage. I've always thought about that being a possibility, and maybe we'll get to see that in Pikmin 4. I highly doubt it, and if I had to give this theory a rating about Bulbmin, coming into play in Pikmin 4 and maybe seeing their real selves, I would say there's about a 20% chance of even seeing that, because it honestly seems like something that Nintendo's not going to touch on. However, I could be wrong. Chances are that those Pikmin, those parasite Pikmin, are green due to the color of the Pikmin's leaves, the Bulbmin's leaves, when you dismiss them. It's actually a green color, which seems to imply that those Pikmin are green. Anyways, that's beside the point. On to more of what we could see. It's very likely, in my opinion, that we're going to see more of this stuff going on with the Wraiths. We had the Water Wraith in Pikmin 2 and the Plasm Wraith in Pikmin 3. There's a lot of mystery behind these enemies, and quite a bit of my Pikmin Theory videos cover them and what I think about them. I did one big video on them where it ties all into the Gulix, which you can check out here if you want, if you haven't seen it, which you probably have if you're watching this video. I believe they're going to come into play as well, because it seems like, to me, ever since the whole Plasm Wraith thing was introduced in Pikmin 3, it seems like Nintendo is really latching on to this idea of there being, here's this otherworldly creature among all these other more normal creatures on the Pikmin planet, and we don't know what it is. It's been that way since Pikmin 2 with the Water Wraith, but with Pikmin 3 it seems like they're continuing that idea and that mystery, and I believe that in Pikmin 4 we will see something of that sort. Whether it will be a final boss like the Plasm Wraith was, or something more secret, that remains to be seen. And finally, the one last thing that I think Pikmin 4 may have, and also this is another thing where it's like, gosh, I hope we have it. I hope Pikmin 4 has a Piklopedia. One thing that really upset me about Pikmin 3 was that it didn't have a Piklopedia for, talking about the enemies and talking about the stuff you find. It had the fruit things with Brittany, and that was it. Pikmin 2 had, a whole treasure log, a Piklopedia about the enemies and the flowers, and it was just so interesting. You learned a lot more about the Pikmin planet that way, and the characters themselves. So I thought it was really cool, and I hope Pikmin 4 has that. I believe it'll have something of that sort. I was surprised that Pikmin 3 didn't have it, but I'm sure that Nintendo saw a lot of the people saying that, oh, please bring it back. So hopefully they will. Because just imagine, if Pikmin 3 had had a Piklopedia, what it would have said about the Plasm Wraith, for Pete's sake. I mean, geez. It's just something I hope we have, but I do think Nintendo will include it. So we'll see. So that's it for this video, guys. I know it wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but I just wanted to present a few simple ideas about what I think could be in Pikmin 4, and also how it ties into what we saw at the end of Pikmin 3. I am going to say that my theory about what that was at the end of Pikmin 3, I don't believe it's the captains that we were playing as getting pulled back down to the planet. I believe it's an entirely new character or a new set of characters. So we'll see if I'm right on that or not, but it just seems too unlikely that it would be able to pull them back down after they escaped. However, we still don't know much about the Plasma Wraith or what it can do, or even if that's what caused it, although that seems most likely. But that's my theory up to this point. My mind might change in the future, and if it does, I could even do a video on that. But we'll see how it goes. So, that's it for this one, guys. Please expect many more theory videos to come out once Pikmin 4 comes out. I'm sure there will be a lot, because Pikmin just keeps going, man, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next. I might even do a further, idea speculation video on it like I did this time, once they reveal more about the game, if they do, in the near future. Now, as for you guys, if you guys have any ideas or theories about how Pikmin 4 could go, or what could be in Pikmin 4, then please tell me in the comments. I'd really like to discuss it with you all and see what you think. So, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then please like the video. If you liked video games, video game theories, Pikmin, anything like that, then please subscribe to my channel and stick around. I really appreciate it, and there will be plenty more to come. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback, and it's what keeps me going, and it's what keeps the theories going, and that's what's important. See you guys in my next video.